Hey everybody, welcome back to Bros and Shows. I am your host, Josiah, aka Mauler67, and with me, as always, I got my buddy, I got my pal, I got my brother Austin. Austin, how you doing today?
Not too bad, not too bad. How about you?
I'm doing pretty okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, some cool stuff came on. I was playing some games before today. Chilling, relaxing, shooting all, like some people. But yeah, we got like a handful of people who currently work at the company I work for. Got an early Christmas present
Ooh,
from the
yeah.
company. I posted it in the Discord, so you've probably seen it already.
Yeah.
But basically, they gave everyone who how you want to say it, qualified. That's it. Yeah, qualified for it. 1,000 points for the reward system, their VIP reward system. And at first, I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'll just get something. I don't care. Until my one coworker said, hey, they changed how the point system works. It's now 1-to-1 ratio with dollars. So if you get 1,000 points, you get $1,000 essentially. And I was like, hot dog. That's different. That is a much different bargain. The only issue is that they do like gift cards and like prepaid visas and everything. So I got a lot of that stuff. I got basically everything done in a prepaid visa. But because it is a digital visa, I can't use it like in person. Like I can't like take it to a store and use it there. But I can do anything I want online with it. I could buy stuff on Amazon. I could buy and rent stuff. Like it doesn't matter. Like all that stuff I could do. So I'm like, cool, I got that. I just need to figure out what I want to do with it.
Well, I'm going to tell people the secret of like Visa gift cards. People don't know this, but me and my wife do it all the time. You can actually Venmo that Visa gift card to someone and then have them Venmo it back to you, and then you just put it in your bank.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is like there's no real issue because the funny enough thing is actually we could pick to cash out at the online, as well as we could have picked a physical gift card, Visa gift card. Yeah. The issue is that they're like, give 15 days for it to be like given to you. And
no, I want my money now.
15 days.
I want the new VR.
I'll be honest, I'm most likely going to spend this online anyway, so what do I care if it's a digital online or not?
Yeah, you better let me get the new Quest 3.
I'm good. I have the Quest 2, and that's good enough for me.
No, I've played with the Quest 3. It's actually a lot better than the Quest 2. But I mean, you don't really need it. Like
as I've explained to like my friends who like VR, I'm like the Quest 2 on its own is okay. Like it's solid, but it's not fantastic. The fact is, I only play VR with my computer. I hook it up, and so it's really my computer that's doing everything. The VR is just allowing me to play VR.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's all I need. I don't need anything special with that.
Well, the thing is, too, is like, really in reality, when I had a VR, like, I wasn't really a fan of it because there wasn't, at the time when I got VR, there wasn't a lot of games that I really cared for, but also the space that I needed for the VR system that I had.
The issue is the VR.
The Quest is better. Yeah, the Quest. The Quest is a lot better.
Systems are just better because you draw out your room from the get-go. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. I thought it was better in like the previous updates because they allowed you to play from like the bed or whatnot.
Yeah,
because whenever I had my back issue, I was like, oh, maybe I'll get my VR and play games from my bed. But then they disabled that because there was tracking issues, so it's like impossible to do it from your bed. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm not doing that. I'll just buy a projector and project it onto my ceiling, which I got and I use still. I like go before I go to bed. I like turn on some like Bob's Burger or something like that, and then just like once I wind down, turn it off, fall asleep. It's like a weird thing that you don't realize how much you enjoy until you have it. Is having like a projector on the ceiling, because it's one thing for it to be like a TV out there facing you, and you kind of have to like lean down, look at it. But if it's up there, you can just like sit there and you trail off so much faster because you're in a comfortable position instead of being like
Oh, I've been
sleeping awkwardly.
I've been trying to convince my wife for years to like have a projector and like have it mounted to the back of our headboard so that it could project up on the roof. So I could, one,
Mm-hmm.
she could roll to her side and she's not really going to see any light. But two, on the other hand, is it's a big enough screen that me and her could sit comfortably and watch movies while we lay down. And like I told her, I was like, it'd be perfect, And she's like, no, that's stupid. So now we have like a TV that's mounted on the wall and then it like moves from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I'm with you, man. Like I love projectors. I've always have. It's like part of the whole movie cinephile I am. So like, it's just that. Like I'm glad that you got a projector because it's so much fun. You never experience a projector until like when you buy a projector for the first time. Then you're like, man, this is actually pretty nice. Like you can take it places and like people can come like and some of them are like super cheap now. Like you can get some good projectors for like $40 to $50,
Yeah, I got mine for like $40. I think it was on sale. It was originally like 70 or something like that. And I got it on sale. And it's not like you plug in and you're like, this is super VR or whatnot. It's much more of like it's functional, it's working, and I'm enjoying it.
It's not,
I'm also projecting it onto a popcorn ceiling, which has a lot of ridges and whatnot, and so everyone has a texture look to them. But I grew up on like polygons and whatnot from the PlayStation 1 era. That's nothing.
You could just buy a $12 projector screen that you can get.
I'm not going to mount that on my ceiling. You kidding me?
I would. It's me. I'd do anything. No, like like last time you were down, we went over to Tom's and I brought the projector and we watched what was it? Game Changers, and then we also watched Make Some Noise, and that's the thing, like we enjoyed it. But Tom actually was like, I think I finally realized what my generational divide is, because he didn't really get the humor, because like it is a little bit more of like newer humor compared to like what
it's improv humor, and I'll be honest, I don't think Tom is as much of an improv person. I think he's much more of a structure.
Me and Mikey and you are pretty up to that because we like it. It's funny.
Yeah. Which, speaking of which, man, some good shows are showing up on Dropout here soon. I'm super excited for some.
Well, there's a whole bunch of stuff actually that's been showing up that I'm like, why is this happening now? There's a lot of shows that are going to be great. I've seen like some shows that are coming out next year, and I'm like, man, I forgot all about that show becoming a thing, and I can't believe it's this year, And video games are like that now too, where you're like, wow, that game looks great, So yeah, I'm excited. So what else did you get? You got some more good news? How's your, I heard that like, your back, is it doing any better? I didn't really talk about that.
So like it's weird 50-50, right? Mm-hmm. So my leg still hurts occasionally as I'm walking or whatever. It's mainly my lower back that is like lower back top of my hip that hurts. And it doesn't hurt in the form of like, oh no, it's the same pain that I've been dealing with. It's much more of the pain of I have a sore lower back. And I think it's hurting so much is because one, I haven't been using my back at all. And two, when I'm walking, I'm putting a lot of pressure on my back to walk. And so I'm just trying to like keep walking. When I get home, lay down, relax. When I'm sitting, it doesn't hurt as bad, and so on and so forth. Though today I was sitting in my my favorite chair here that is broken now. I was looking online, and apparently they said that all chairs that they have a 5-year warranty. I'm going to email them and be like, hey, bought the chair in 2020. I have the information. Is the warranty good? And I'll tell you what's wrong with the chair, because it's broken, but I still love it, and I would very much like to keep it. But if I have to buy a new one, hey, I just happen to got some money.
Yep.
Remove that. Happy Affiliation University. Yeah, I didn't know it was there.
Yeah. Today is the day for you.
Today is the day. Like, I got affiliate because I started playing a bunch of Pokemon Sword Shield. That's what happened. I play a lot of Pokemon Sword Shield, got like a shiny done, and I popped off because I was giving away shiny for free for everyone, and people all started following me and spreading. Yeah. Twitch can demand all at once. Awesome.
Yep.
What about you though? What's been going on with you?
You know, a couple things have been going on with me. I'm still trying to figure out everything that's going on, like, you know, health wise with me.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I've been dealing with like this thing where, like, I'll get like this massive brain fog,
Okay.
and you know, like, it just stinks. Like, it sucks. It's like, you know, like, you get this brain fog, and like, I can't really focus, but it also feels like I have blurry vision. So I'm like, oh man, this is terrible. And I felt bad, and like, it only happened at like 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, it would be like that, and then I'd be fine at night, and I'd be fine sometimes in the morning. But sometimes in the morning, I would get that. Like, after I eat, I was like, what the heck is going on? And then I finally got a hold of my doctor. My doctor's like, you should go get a blood pressure cuff. And I was like, why? And they're like, well, you do have high blood pressure. What if the dose that we're giving you for blood pressure meds is too low? And I was like, okay.
Or
So they were
too
like, yeah.
high.
So I got a blood pressure cup, and I checked it, and I was at 140, which is not good. You should be at usually at like 120, 125 is like the highest.
Man, I'm at like 200. That's nothing.
Well, if you're at 200, you'd be dead.
You say that. I just believe that I live in a vacuum of space and I have high blood pressure.
Mm. So she advised me to get like fish oil supplement that's like 3,000 milligrams. We did defy the
Advises you to
odds.
get fish oil. Was she
Yeah.
some like witch?
No. She that was what the doctor told
I'm
the
I'm
nurse to
joking,
do.
Austin.
Yeah.
That's
She
like
was like,
something from like medieval times where someone.
yeah, like a witch. You know what you
Here,
really
have
need is a
these-
good leeching.
Yeah, you
A
need
good leeching. Just hang him up by his head. Oh man, that was Steve Martin, by the way. Medieval Baba. But no, so yeah, after that happened, I started realizing that I was, you know, I'm trying to like stay low carb and no sugar. So like, I have to like substitute things. And I
Yeah.
found out that some of the rubs that I was using in the hot sauce has sodium, which, if you know anything about high blood pressure, sodium is the villain of high blood pressure most of the time. So I was drowning my tofu in like hot sauce. Like,
Oh, so you weren't
you know,
eating tofu, you were eating hot sauce with tofu
well,
in it.
tofu in it. So I was like, oh, okay, you know, this kind of sucks. So now I have to move to like red cayenne pepper instead of that, and some red flakes if I want some hotness. And actually, what's really weird is now I'm building a tolerance for hot so much that my father-in-law made baked beans the other day, and he was like, man, that's a little hot. And then I was like, I don't taste it. And he's like, really? I was like, yeah. And he's like, man, what's going on? I was like, well, that zombie apocalypse that my brother left, I've been eating that, and it's actually really good stuff. So
What's
now I
going
have
on?
to
I'm
find.
dying inside. That's what's happening.
That's what's happening. So yeah, I've been trying to deal with all that stuff, you know, and you know, like trying to get my my blood sugar where it needs to be because I am diabetic now. So I want to kind of like get off the medication and stuff, and like it's doing good now, and I'm happy that like I'm going forward as like, you know, healthier. Like, it sucks that I have this diagnosis, but the thing is like I don't let it like deter me from like being who I am. And it's actually better for me. Like, I've lost weight, and I didn't realize that until I started looking through my TikTok again, like when I was making TikToks, and you can see it in my face. Like, my face was a little bit bigger, and then like now, like you can tell, but also too is t-shirts that I couldn't wear, I can wear now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this. Like, my brother bought me this JoJo t-shirt, and I hated it so much because I had like the pudge, and so like it would come up like above my stomach a little bit when I sat, and I hated it. So now, fully wearing the JoJo t-shirt, I'm so happy because that's like one of my favorite shirts. Oh, there's the wife. What is it? Thank you. She didn't want to go out to her car to get the debit card. We are booking for a Disney trip in February, so I was like,
it was funny to me that she just hands it and you're just like grab it quickly because it's like we're recording a stream.
yeah. Everyone wants to know my number. No. So yeah, it's been pretty cool, like trying to deal with that now. And then you know, I've been wanting to play games and stuff like that, and I've just been trying really hard to get like to a bed at a certain time because it does help with like my energy and how I feel. And then we're gonna be coming out, mom, dad, and my wife. We're gonna be coming out to Pittsburgh to see you. next weekend.
No.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun.
Which I do get off of work 2 hours early on Friday next week.
Oh,
Or
okay.
this
Well,
week. Never mind. Not next week.
oh,
This
yeah,
week.
next week.
However, I may also get off 2 weeks early that week as well because that weekend is New Year's Eve,
New Year's
and we
Eve,
normally get 2 hours early dismissal whenever we have a holiday that weekend of.
Oh.
So
Yes. So yeah, we're gonna be coming out then, and then hopefully this weekend I'm going to go watch a movie that I've been anticipating to watch, and that's something I'm looking forward to.
Godzilla minus one.
I already watched that. It's fantastic. If you like Godzilla movies, you will like that. I also did watch The Boy and the Heron, which is Studio Ghibli's last movie. Well, whatever
What'd
his
you
last
think
movie.
Patterson.
Dude, what's really funny is like I did see a TikTok meme that I forgot to send you about Chris Pratt, and like what it was like Robert Pattinson seeing Chris.
We see the same things, Austin. We send each other TikToks,
Or
so
you
often
send me
we have-
my own TikTok, like you did
or
that
vice
this week.
versa. Like we both do it, Austin.
Yeah.
There is times where like I'll send something, and then later you'll send me a TikTok, and I'll laugh because I'm like, Austin, I like that TikTok already.
Yeah, you
it
sent
should
it to me.
tell you that I like that
Yeah.
TikTok already.
It should. It should.
No,
No,
it
what
does.
was
It
it?
does. Anytime you're like,
Yeah,
scrolling through,
yeah.
you see it to the left, and I laugh whenever I see a TikTok. I'm like, I've seen this before. Yeah, I liked it. What the heck?
Yeah. I'm like you, where I just forget about it, and then like I go through my feed like late, and then I don't look at your messages. I'm like, oh, he sent that to me
your
already.
brain naturally goes like, open TikTok. TikTok starts you off in your For You page, and your brain's just like, scroll.
Yep.
Just scroll. And then you realize as you're scrolling, oh, I have messages from people. So you then click on that. And if just so happens you don't register that you have messages and you start sending TikToks, you most likely will send TikToks already done.
Oh yeah, that's totally it.
I also I also completely do this thing where you'll send me a TikTok and I'll resend that to some of my other friends, and I'm very positive, like we're both friends with Alex on TikToks, that I'm like, he probably gets the same TikToks from both of us at times, and my brain's like, I can't confirm this, so I'm still going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
At some point he'll hate us.
Yeah, that or I send him like the most obscure, and most of the time it's Spider-Man memes. But
most of the time for me, it's like borderline like creepypasta stuff.
Yeah.
And Final Fantasy stuff.
Oh.
Like I sent both to you and him the Goofy makeup removal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I always
sent
send
him
him
one
like
that
Twister
was like
memes.
I sent him one of a Blue Jay where it's just like, happy holiday to you, all of you except you, Alex. Look in the closet, Alex. And then like that's all it was. I was like, well, gotta send that to Alex.
Yeah, you have to. No, I'm gonna go watch the movie The Iron Claw, which is based on the Von Erichs wrestling family that tragically had like a bunch of deaths in their family. But it stars like Zac Efron.
Yeah. Well, I watched the trailer with you. Yeah.
Jeremy Allen White. It comes out this Friday, so I was like, man, I really want to go watch it. And then my buddy Travis was like, you want to see Aquaman 2 with me? And I was like, no, I'm gonna pass, bro. I couldn't watch Aquaman 2. I'm good. But we did get two things this week for people that are nerding it out. One, Jonathan Majors is no longer part of the Marvel Universe. Yeah. They have dropped him. And to the most saddest news, but I totally understand. What We Do in the Shadows is coming to an end. The TV series, they announced that yesterday that it's coming to an end.
But you can't be upset because six seasons in movies.
Yeah. So I saw that on a Facebook post, and I don't know if I sent it to you because I was about to, and someone posted like 6 seasons in a movie, and then I commented on that guy, and I was like, I did the Abed like thumbs up thing, and then someone else was like, cool, and I'm like, yeah, we should totally do another movie, like, but it's already got a movie, so it's 6 seasons in the old movie.
6 seasons and more movies.
And then we have to get Matthew Perry, Matt Berry. I've been watching his new show, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh,
So far.
Crapopolis or something like that.
Yeah, Crapopolis. It has like a lot of people actually. I didn't know that the girl from Game of Thrones was in that show, but she played like a small role in Game of Thrones. Well, she played a big role in Game of Thrones, but a lot of people wouldn't know her by looking at her. But it's the nun that does the shame thing.
Oh yeah. She's actually a pretty well done.
Yeah, I didn't know
actress.
that. Like a lot of people were like, "Yeah, you didn't know that." I was like, "No, I didn't." But
You didn't know that? Shame on you.
Matt Berry is phenomenal in that show, though. He cracks me.
I like Matt Berry. I just like a lot. I very much like any show he does. I'm instantly on board to watch
Yeah, most of the time I am too. So,
because that man makes me laugh, and I enjoy him for that.
Mhm. But past all the talking, because we talked for 25 minutes about stuff.
So we actually didn't. We only talked about for 20 minutes, which is actually on par
Yeah.
because you went to the restroom in the very beginning, and I completely got sucked in looking at something. I forgot that I'm like, oh no, the thing's just going. We're 4 minutes and 56 seconds in. I haven't done the intro yet, so that's on me. But yeah, Austin, enough dilly dallying. We gotta solve a murder, Austin. This week we watched Only Murders in This Building, except to be disappointed, there was only one murder in the building.
Well, no. Well, yeah, in the building. Well, I don't know. No, there was multiple.
Oh, really? Where did the other murders take place?
Did the cat died?
The cat, after the realization in the end, no one murdered the cat. The cat drank the blood and killed itself.
But it's still a murder.
It's not a murder.
It's
if
still
the
a
cat
homicide.
eats it.
It's a caticide.
No.
No. But technically she died in the building, but she died outside the building. The one girl.
Ooh.
But the Selena Gomez's friend.
Oh yeah, the friend who falls off. Yeah. She wasn't in the building though.
Stop it.
The title says only murders in the building.
Yeah.
There's only murders around the building and within it sometimes.
Misleading title.
Very misleading title. Yes. Except it was fantastic. I very much loved this show. I thought Steve Carell, not Steve Carell. Who's Steve Carell?
The Office.
The Office. Wow, I'm surprised. I don't even watch a lot of his stuff to even say that.
Yeah.
No, I totally thought that.
Space Force.
Space Force. Yeah, that's the only thing I think I've ever watched of his, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
There was a lot of movies he did, like he did 40-Year-Old Virgin and
Never
stuff like
watched it.
that. So, or Anchorman. He was.
I did watch Anchorman, but he wasn't a main character. Do you really count him in that?
But he was the main. Everyone knew who he was because he always had the goofy lines like "I love lamp" and stuff like that.
I guess. Okay. Well, anyways, Steve Martin did fantastic. I loved him a lot in this. Steve Martin is one of those people, and I'm sure there's other people who agree with me on this. I thought he was like 70 when I was 10.
Because of his hair, yeah.
And what's funny to me, right, is I thought he was old then. And then I watch him now, and he doesn't look like he's aged a day. Like, I'm legitimately looking at him like, this looks like the same guy I watched Buffy, right? He does not look like he's aged. He looks really solid. Dude, he has like some type. He's a vampire I'm kind of believing on. And he just got turned really old. Because, gosh darn, man, he does not look. Yeah, that's what they call Botox. I don't know. I don't even think it's Botox because you can tell when people have Botox, right?
Yeah.
Excessive amount. He does not look like he has Botox. Possibly, maybe. I just think that he just doesn't, like, he's one of those people that his body aged quickly and then it just stopped because, you know, he got older. I have no idea how old he is.
Oh, Steve?
Yeah, how old is
I think
Steve
he's
Martin?
pushing almost 80. I think it's 78.
78. He's 78. He's 78. 1945. He is much older than I thought he was. Like, he looks so much younger.
Well, he's got the same thing that happened to me like 2 years ago when I looked up, I was like, wow, I wonder how old Samuel Jackson is. And I looked him up and I was like, wow, I did not know he was that much. Like, I didn't, I thought Samuel Jackson was like in his 30s when I first saw him. And I was like, oh no. I was like, oh, he's probably like 50. And you're like, wow, he's 70 years old. And you're like, wow, I didn't expect that. But he looks good for a 78-year-old.
He looks
That's the thing.
fantastic for a
Yeah.
78. Like,
Yeah.
I looked at him. Hold on, I gotta look
Well,
this
you
up.
also
I
have
gotta
to
look
take
up
in-
where is he?
Well,
in
Martin
this? He
Martin
has to
Short
be in
looked the
this.
same too. Martin Short is 73 years old. Like he looks exactly how he was. You know, he looks great. You know.
Okay, hold on. In comparison, right? Look at Sting now in the show to where Sting looks like. You're like, wow, dude, you
Yeah,
you look very different from how you looked when you were
way
younger.
different. Way
And
different.
you
Well,
look-
that's what happens when you're a rock star. You do a bunch of drugs. Like, let's be real. You drink, you do drugs. You're a rock star.
Yeah, but
how that
I'll
works.
be honest. It's probably just because I don't see all the like white makeup he normally has.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, no, I just don't know Sting. Did like it though when he was in wrestling for that short time, but that was a joke, by the way.
Yeah,
You didn't catch it
I'm-
whenever I said the
yeah.
white paint, so I forget things.
Yeah.
I also don't really know who Martin Short is. I
Oh.
recognize him. I see him and I'm like, I've seen him before. I don't
Yeah,
know what I've seen him in.
Martin Short actually has been in a lot of Steve Martin and him are huge together. They did a
Oh,
run.
he was in Santa Claus 3.
Yeah, he was the evil Blizzard
Yeah,
guy.
Jack Frost. I think that was Jack Frost, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say one of his big movies with Steve Martin is Father of the Bride, which is a phenomenal movie with him and Steve Martin. He also was in Three Amigos, which is you know, Steve Martin, Martin Short, and then Chevy Chase.
Yeah, I'm looking through all of
around
his stuff now, seeing like where would I recognize him from?
I'm
And-
trying to think what else you would know. He was in Mars Attack.
Yeah,
remember
I'm
that.
just trying to see which ones that I actually know off the top of
Mm.
my head. Like, there's a lot of things that he was in that I have watched, but I'm like,
Mm.
just because I've watched doesn't mean I would recommend. He was in
Yeah,
Three
yeah.
Amigo. I guess that's like the probably go-to one for a lot of people because that's both Martin and him. And
Yeah.
Chevy. We don't talk about Chevy.
Yeah. How I Met
but
Your
yeah.
Mother, he was part of that.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like I've seen
Mm.
that. I don't remember him, but I'm
Mm.
sure if I rewatch it, I'll be like, oh, there he is.
Yeah, Martin
Um,
Short. Martin Short is really known for. I remember him in a couple movies. I remember him Captain Moran, Three Amigos, Father of the Bride, and then they did like a Return of the Father of the Bride or something like that. It was like Father of the Bride 2 or something like that,
Yeah.
part 2. But him and Steve Martin have been doing stand up together forever. Like in,
Oh yeah.
they actually had a tour going on in like 2018. And I really wanted to go because I'm a huge Steve Martin fan. He's my favorite comedian. And I was like, dude, that'd be so cool to see Steve Martin. And then they're like, Martin Short together, even better. But at the time that it was going on, I couldn't do anything because there was something that it was like when I was getting married, actually. You know, we were doing the Ohio wedding. So I was like, well, this kind of stinks. Like, I don't get to see Steve Martin. And then, you know, Selena Gomez, you know,
Yeah.
like, you know, I wasn't
Selena
a huge fan
Gomez.
of Selena, but Selena is huge in the Disney world. Everyone, my wife knew her.
I have
you
to
know,
think,
my
what
wife-
was she in?
I don't remember her from movies really or TV shows. It was more from music.
Wizards
I
of
remember.
Waverly Place.
Place. That's the biggest
And
one.
Sweet
And
Life,
Sweet
yeah.
Life of Zach and Cody. Yeah, like that.
I know.
I remember
she's
those.
one of those people that like growing up, her name was
Mm.
thrown everywhere because she was like the go-to, the guys love her type deal thing, like
Yeah.
TV crushes for Disney fans.
Yeah.
But those shows were a little bit past my time.
Mm.
When I say they were a little bit past my time, they were actually probably right on where I was supposed to be at, but I liked cartoons and have still never gotten over that. So I never watched live action stuff. So I never watched any of their stuff.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, so like there was a lot of music that I remember her from because one of the friends that I went to school with actually was a huge fan of her.
Okay.
So which was my buddy Joey. So like he would always play her from time to time. So like I was like, yeah, you know, she's not bad.
oh, like
you
play
know,
her songs.
Yeah, she was into music a lot. So like at the time he was into music. Um, like he loved girl music. So he was like, Taylor Swift, Selena Gomez, what was it, Ariana Grande, stuff like that. So like, I was like, yeah, okay, Katy Perry's the same way. So like, that's how I got into her music really. I was like, oh, she's not bad for a singer. It wasn't like I was like, oh my gosh, she's so hot. It's more of like I liked her music, and her music's good. A little poppy sometimes, but overall, I'm actually really excited that she actually, got part of this. Like she's part of this because
Yeah.
a lot of people don't know this about Selena Gomez, but I do because I read like an article, I think it was like a year ago, about Selena Gomez had kidney disease, and she
dang.
actually had a kidney transplant. That's why she's at the weight she's at, is because it was something that she had to have a kidney transplant.
What do you mean by that? Like,
well, she had chronic kidney disease, and like both of her kidneys were failing, and she had a kidney transplant. When you have a kidney transplant, what happens is like, the lifestyle that she was living was not a good lifestyle, and so then like now she's gained weight. She's gained like healthy weight because before she wasn't at a healthy weight.
When you said like the weight she was, I was like, wait, what do you mean by that? Like,
yeah,
she looks
she was.
fine to me. I don't know what you're talking about.
She was not a healthy weight. Like she was like being like she was trying to be a like a model, like a runway model.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay.
And now she's engaged to that Benny Belson guy, the guy from he does a lot of music, but he's known for like his acting at there's like a show called Dave about Little Dicky. Yeah, it's good. I actually thought about us watching it on a podcast sometime.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's something that we'll probably get around to watching. But I was really surprised of some of the cast that was in here. It was funny that they brought Sting in. That was good. I didn't expect Sting to be in there. I thought it was just gonna be a joke.
Lie. There was a side of me that really wanted the end to be that it was Sting all along.
Yeah.
Just because of how it was set up, but
I will tell you this: the twist did not surprise me, because I watch a lot of like twist movies and stuff. So
which twist? Because in my opinion, I think there was two twists.
There's two twists, but the first twist,
both of them were choreographed.
Yeah, the first one, I did not think that it was going to be that obvious, but the last twist, I was like, okay, I know who the killer is. Because the thing is like the reason why I kind of knew who the killer was, and it was Jan at the end, because she says something about she says something about we should look at this Howard guy, the cat guy again, and I was like, she's diverting them from solving this crime. That's what's happening, and they don't like her. I was like, she can't be Steve Martin's girlfriend next season. That's just how it is. I know how they set up stuff. Nathan Lane though. The Nathan Lane thing about his son being deaf and accidentally killing that girl, I was like, and then he's like this black market like jewelry dealer that just like steals from the people that are dead, which was brilliant, by the way. Brilliant.
So that to me is the first twist, is the realization that they have a double scheme with a funeral home to steal from the dead bodies of people before they're put in their grave, which is first off an amazing like story and cover, right? I like that a lot. The whole episode that was all silent with no one saying anything except Steve Martin in the end, I was fine with it. There was one artistic issue I had with it, and that was subtitles. If you're going to do a episode where everyone's quiet and silent, I think you need to not do it with the crutch of subtitles. You should do it from the person's perspective of not hearing anything and you not hearing anything either, and only subtitle whenever they do like ASL. When they do ASL, I'm like, that's fine. From his perception, he understands it and feels it. Now, the one thing you can throw away that is that he has he's able to read lips and everything, which is what you find out through the process of it. I don't know. It to me, that's like the same level of like the one silent episode of like Doctor Who or Buffy, where there's no words said and they have to like act and like mimic some way to like get that point across. I would have liked it if that was more of a thing and less of like just subtitles, because I felt like they were trying to go artistically with it, but they kneecapped themselves by putting subtitles into the show and didn't allow the actors and like the world to convey what's happening. But no, like the funny thing is I definitely got the whole belief that I'm like, okay, the murder is going to be on the person who killed the girl. We're going to find out something about that. The show did the one thing I didn't like, though. I don't like they do in shows. Whenever they have a murder mystery, they do a whole episode before the cast and crew figures out who the murderer is, showing who the murderer is. I don't like that. Because, like, if you didn't put two and two together that it was the son who killed him, and you just start watching this episode, and then at the end of it, he kills it, you feel like you learned information before the cast did. And you're like, well, how can I go into the next episode with this information?
No, and I
That's
agree.
Not a
and the
murder
way
mystery.
the way that you fix that is them blaming Nathan Lane for the murder and saying that he killed her, and then they go, no, I didn't kill her, my son did. And then it goes into what really happened instead of like, you know, finding out all the stuff in the beginning and then the ending that happens.
You allow the cast to like make the accusation, put the evidence together, and then have like the son come in ASL that is like, leave my dad out of this, it was me. Yeah. And then the next episode be the episode where you see the flashback, and it's like him telling the story essentially. And then you catch back up, and then like the information goes from there. I don't like it whenever it's thrown in before they get to that concept and that idea. I like, for instance, I personally felt like the reveal at the end about Jan being found like being the murderer was much more was handled much better than the Theo being the killer of the one girl, because it gets introduced by the characters, and then Steve Martin's like, I don't believe you, and he proceeds to record their conversation. And she like spills his guts. He's able to like deduce her down like Sherlock kind of does. And I really enjoyed that scene. I only have one gripe with Jan being the killer. It's fine. If those two were together at any point in time, people would have seen it. There would have been evidential proof of it. And this is the issue with murder mysteries nowadays. There's cameras on every floor of apartment buildings. So they would see where he came from and where he went to. They would see, according to this own game, the own show, he went into her house. That's where she got drugged. And then he went home. They would have seen he left there, which is funny enough because apparently the hotel has security cameras, but not pointed at in the actual building. They're pointed outside in the hallway because that's how they clear out the two other people from the murders. And I laughed at that. I'm like, you guys have security cameras that point out to the lawn, but not in your own building? That seems fake. That could have been easily explained away by them being like, we have security cameras. It's like them pull the tapes. It's like, we don't record. Why? It's like, because it's expensive and we don't want to pay it. Like, legitly, they could have just said that. It's like, they're more deterrents than anything else. And they get in trouble because it's like, you have a murder on your hands now, and this can be your liability because you don't have those to record. 100%, they could have done that. But whatever, right? Who knows? And then the whole thing is just like, she's not in his phone though, and it's like, she could have deleted it. Like, I don't know. What the one thing I would say, and I nitpick at this stuff because I'm a big fan of murder mysteries and everything of that sort. And whenever you present things in like certain era and times, like, you know, podcasts or recording people and all that good things, you introduce a lot of issues, like plot holes in it, right? Like the whole thing about them driving to the one person's house, and it's like, she's not answering the phone, she's been kidnapped, blah 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 blah. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. And then the other guy coming out and being like, oh my gosh, he was murdered. It's like, it's been all over the news. I highly doubt you don't know this already, but they did it so you could come out and seem as this impartial person who just drops information bomb. And so it's like, I don't know. And thanks for the happy affiliation day. That's legitimately my thing. Yeah, I'm sorry, Austin. This is just how I am whenever it comes to murder mystery stuff. The funny thing is here, I see this as a comedy, so I let a lot of that pass. Like, I don't hold that at all.
Well, the thing is like, I will say this, they did try to set it up so that they gave you the right clues to like figure it out. Because like the first time I ever had a real good clue of like, I might know who the murderer is there's a part where Steve Martin moves Sting's picture over a suspect. Like, you know, when they have the chart, where they have the pictures, he moves it over to the Demis, to Nathan Lane. And I was like, yep. So they kind of hinted at that. But I will say this, I do let a lot of things slide. I totally understand where you're coming from with certain things, and like some things are not logical, or like you're like, that doesn't make sense. But, or why wouldn't they do that? Like, you know, like recording. But I will say this though, there was some great moments where I thought it was going to fall flat on, and then I just like, for some odd reason, I just burst out freaking laughing. Like, I don't know why, but I can oversee some of the murder man.
There was one scene in this movie that made me bust out laughing at work.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, you go on. I want to hear what you say, but there is one scene that I instantly think about that got me to laugh out loud.
Okay, so mine actually has to deal with the board, actually.
Okay.
Because well, it deals with the board, but it's pretty funny, but it's just a stupid little thing, but I laughed so freaking hard because I was just like, this is goofy. And it was the time when like Steve Martin and them are trying to get information about the people that were left over during the fire alarm, like the people that did not leave the fire alarm. And he goes to talk to that girl, and then they like show a picture of Steve Martin's headshot, and it's just like this drawn little like horned devil, and like he's got these goofy teeth. I don't know why I laughed really hard about that, but it was goofy to a point. And all the puns that they were doing with Sting was hilarious. You know, and then them coming to the realization when Selena Gomez is like, that song is about someone that had an ex-wife. It's not a romantic song. It's about a guy that gets divorced and he stalks his ex-wife. And they're like, yeah, the most romantic thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did really good with the humor, and I like Steve Martin's humor. So like,
you know what's
what I like
funny about that though?
Yeah,
it's like that is very much a generational divided
divided
song, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you hear people's like every step you take or whatever, they instantly think and assume like, man, that song is so romantic. Like, growing up, they're all like, that's really romantic. And then listening to it like now, people are like, this is pretty messed up. And then older people just accept it and let it go. And then the younger people are like, no, I refuse to listen to this. It to me is the same level as what is it, Baby It's Cold Outside?
Yeah.
Because like older people will be like, it's a good song, it's great, they love each other. And then it's like, baby, it's cold outside. They're all like, man, this guy's basically holding her hostage and keeping her here. And I always laugh about that. Baby, it's cold outside.
Man.
I think you should go.
No, I think what's great about this comedy is why it's so good is because you have two people that are older and they have some older style comedy, but you also have Selena Gomez that is dipping her hands into a comedy show. And I think that it does really well with like today, because like they bring up a lot of stuff about like okay boomer and stuff like that. They also bring up the one about, well, why don't you just take a screenshot? And like he's like, a screenshot, what's that? And it's like click, and he's like, oh man, I wish I would have known that the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. Like it's funny because you have two people that are old and they're trying to like know what's hip. Like the Steve Martin part where Steve Martin's like, I'm gonna text Mabel, and he's like, okay. He's like, salutations. It's like you don't have to sign your name. Just like
The thing I like about it is that Steve Martin, they're all played straight. Like they're all straight characters. They're straight to the point. Selena Gomez doesn't try to be funny, but she comes off very comedic based upon her being straight-laced and these two other people being comedic. Like Martin Short's character is very much a person who is like haughty kind of mindset, where he's just like, I have all this great stuff about me, and so whenever he says or does something stupid, he kind of tries to roll it off like, oh, whatever, like that's fine. Steve Martin's a character that he just does funny things because he gets put in funny situations.
Yeah.
And then Selena Gomez is just like, I'm dealing with these two buffoons, right? And I just have to accept that that's my life. And that's what's enjoyable of it.
I just remembered the one of the scenes that I will always remember because I laughed so freaking hard was when Steve Martin and Jan were playing Scrabble.
Oh yeah, they start doing
that
like, wood, horny, wet. I found that funny because in that scene, she like starts putting those words down.
Yeah.
And I completely thought what was going to be said, like how it was going to end, is that Steve Martin is putting down like other sexual things, but he doesn't realize it. And then he's going to play something and she's going to look at him. He's going to look at her. And then he's just going to be like, I win. And she's like, wait, what? Like, that's what I totally thought. But I did like that they connected through that.
The sexual tension was funny. I liked it because I was waiting for Steve Martin to be like, oh, like when he has that realization where he's like, oh, okay, she's putting sexual stuff.
That's what I thought it was going to be. Like he's 100% just straight laced enjoying Scrabble.
I also forget what she said our safe word was. Oh, it was Bravo.
Bravos.
Brazo. That was her safe word. And what was really cool is the cameo of Jane Lynch. I thought that was a really good cameo. I like Jane Lynch. I haven't seen her in a while.
They'll be back.
Oh yeah,
definitely, because they're his body double, which I found hilarious. Especially like, for instance, that was something that made me laugh that Selena Gomez did, where it's just like, holy cow, it's uncanny. It's like, yeah, she was my body double. She's like a female body double in the 80s. Wow, that's really progressive for that era. Like that made me laugh because it's true. And it made me laugh because she delivers it in such a like millennial, like Gen Xer kind of, well, millennial slash Gen Z kind of thought process, where you're like, I assumed worse of the earlier generation, but that's pretty good. I take it. But you know what was my funniest part that made me laugh out loud?
What was that?
It was in the end when Steve Martin is tied up and Jan has the gun holding in front of him, in front of Martin Short's character, and he like undoes himself, stands up, and he's like, no, you can shoot me, but not my friends. He goes on this long speech and then just hard cuts to him still like up going, that made me bust out loud because that's like a classical cut scene where someone's like because I totally thought what they were going to play off is that this gut muscle or gut milk that they got is actually an antitoxin somehow.
It was like the Batman buttermilk thing about like poison, like Adam West. Yeah,
I totally thought that's what it was going to go with, and so when it was happening, I was like,
I knew you were going to poison me.
That's a big surprise.
So I drank a whole gallon of buttermilk before we met.
I do also love how Jan was revealed, like how she like confessed to stuff. Like she's very much gleeful at it.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm so happy that you caught all this
She's-
stuff. You are 100%
She's
the
a
detective.
she's
I
a
want."
poisoner with a label maker.
Yeah, that was also another thing that made me laugh. Because whenever she, because that's another thing that Selena Gomez
Yeah.
joke said that was very well timed, where it's just like,
Mhm.
she's a poisoner and it has all this stuff, and then she just stops and looks at him and is like, a label maker.
With a label maker, you know. The comedy is very, very awesome. And what's
Yeah.
great is like season 2 actually I know there's a couple people that I know that are part of like this production, but I don't know what season they, because Meryl Streep is in one season and she's a huge character. Meryl Streep is an oldest. She's an actress, like a very big time.
Okay, I see her name, but I don't know what she's from.
Meryl Streep was in a lot of movies like Mamma Mia, Devil Wears Prada, stuff like that. She was
Yeah, but Austin, here's the thing. You can tell me all the things that she's been in, but unless I've seen it, I have no context.
I'm trying to think what you have watched with her in it. That
Oh,
we
Mary
have-
Poppins.
Okay, yeah, Mary Poppins.
That was in the
newer
2018 Mary Poppins Unfortunate Events.
Mary Poppins. Deer Hunter. Well, I know you never watched Deer Hunter.
Nope, definitely never watched that, my man.
Nope. I'm trying to think what her big movie that you would. Lemony Snicket's Fortunate Events with Neil Patrick Harris. Probably.
I watched like 3 seasons of it. I don't remember anything about that show, I'll be honest.
Oh no, not a season. I mean, not with Neil Patrick Harris, with Jim Carrey.
Oh,
sorry.
no, never watched it. Nope. Yeah, she's definitely familiar. Like, I recognize her.
Yeah, she's most people know her from Mamma Mia, and then
Into
there was
the
a
Woods.
movie that she did called Manchurian Candidate.
Yeah, the thing I think I see her a lot as is Devil Wear Prada.
Mm-hmm.
That is definitely most likely where I've seen her from.
Yeah, and you know, I was gonna say there is another girl in here that I know is going to be part of that, and that's Ashley Park. She was in a show that I watched called Beef with Steve Yemen, the guy that does the voice for Invincible. He was in a show called Beef on Netflix. It's actually pretty well. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to see where those characters like.
Yeah.
And there will be more people. And Michael Ramperter, he was in. You should probably know him. He played. Oh wait, no, I don't remember. He was in the movie Hitch. I don't know if you remember the movie Hitch with Will Smith. I used to watch it all.
Yeah, I remember. I know Hitch.
The one I remember him from recently that I forgot about that he was in was Men of Honor. I don't know if you remember that movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was the one with the stutter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I'm
yeah.
like looking at all.
And he was
these-
in Friends too. Remember he was Phoebe's cop boyfriend, and then he shoots a bird, and then she like breaks up with him. Yeah, but yeah, I'm pretty excited for season 2 because I really enjoyed season 1 so much that I was like, okay, I want to know where they go now with season 2.
It was
to
an
see how that
enjoyable
works.
watch.
It
The
was.
one thing
I had
I
a lot
will
of fun.
say, it's one thing for me to be like, this show was amazing because it's like very well written or it's very well acted. I very much, when I was watching this show, was just enjoying it, even though the topics was like harder, like it was darker topic. It was very well done, like very well paced, very well acted. Comedy was on par. It kind of reminded me of like, to me, it almost didn't even feel like a movie, a TV show. It felt more like a Bowfinger-esque, like Steve Martin movie, right? Yeah. Something that as I'm watching, I'm just like, man, I'm just enjoying this. I enjoy all the characters.
Yeah.
I did love the fact that it's based upon them being like a true crime podcast. Love that. Thought that was hilarious. I'm like, I love that they did that. I love the fact that they joked about like everyone and their mother is making a podcast, because I'm like, you're completely right.
That's exactly what it would be. And what was her name? Julia Dreyfus is the girl that was the Oklahoma podcast girl, like the big podcaster.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's from Seinfeld. A lot of people know her from Seinfeld.
I believe, yeah, she's from Seinfeld, but I recognize
She's
her
also
from
in
other
Winter
things.
Soldier. She was in the New Captain America show. She's the one that hires the one Captain America. that ends up killing that guy with the shield. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's the congresswoman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dreyfus, yeah. Forgot that she was in season 1. Yep. I think that's right.
Wow.
Something.
Well, yeah. I just, I really, I enjoyed.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed. I think her name was Poppy or whatever, her assistant. I just love
Oh,
the
yeah.
idea of like the person being like, next time, like a very interesting conundrum. It's like, yeah. Next, are they the killers? Join us next time where we on the new podcast, Only Murderers in This Building. And then she's like, wow, that's really good. I came up with that.
I came up with that.
I'm like, that's
You did
100%
that.
a situation that like the person takes credit for everything.
Mhm.
So never mind. I almost made a reference. I almost said something from Futurama. Yeah, no. Show fantastic. Show was great. I will be honest. I accidentally watched half of episode 1 of season 2.
I do it all the
because
time.
I completely thought that the ending of the show with the whole reveal of the murder was actually I thought there was 10 episodes. There's only 9 episodes. I thought there was 10.
Yeah.
And so I continued and I was like, oh, they're introducing this whole new murder. And then I clicked and like I paused it because I was in the middle of work, and that's when I saw it was 2 of 1. I was like, oh. But I did really like how the end, right? Whenever they're all up on the roof and she's like, doesn't it feel like some loose ends weren't tied up? And I was like, yeah, you guys forgot a couple. Like the
Yeah,
whole
you
scene
did.
in the very first episode of you guys running in on her like all bloody. And then I realized, oh, that's this scene.
Yep.
This, like the whole time that scene was made you think that it like she stabbed the tie-dye dude. Whenever you find out like
Yeah.
that's the dude, it's like, what's going to happen? Like he must be the murderer, and she like defends herself or something like that. Like I really
tie-dye
enjoyed
guy.
tie-dye
Yep.
guy.
Yep.
So yeah, no, fantastic show. Really enjoy it. Hopefully season 2 is just as good, if not better.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Austin, do you have any last things you want to say about this show?
No, I enjoy it. I'm gonna probably watch the crap out of the second season tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely a show I think you should tell Tom about it.
Oh, I have. I have. After I watched it, I was like, I think you would like it.
Because
Yeah.
like anyone who was a fan of Steve Martin movies or anything would
Yeah.
definitely like this show.
Yep. That's what I told him. I was like, Martin Short and Steve Martin. He was like, And I was like,
Mhm.
also Dreyfus is in it for a little bit, and he's like, oh, okay, because he's a huge Seinfeld guy.
And you should also tell him like Sting, man. Tell him Sting's in it, and he'll be like, oh,
Don't stand
that's
too close to
all-star
Sting.
class. Yeah,
I'm standing too close to Sting.
don't stand too close.
Ironically, Sting might be involved in the murder. Ironically, his band's name was The Police. I just like the puns. They're so stupid.
Yeah.
They're good. They're good. I love.
Or
I love
like at
Marsh.
the,
Their
the last
chemistry is great.
episode where it's just like, hey, don't worry, man. I've seen this before. Sting was just like this back whenever the police, his band broke up. Don't worry, I'll pop you back on your floor and send you up and away. Don't tell anyone I told you about Sting. Proceeds to tell 3 other people, and it's like,
Yeah.
don't tell anyone I told you this. Like,
Mhm.
man. All right, Austin. I appreciate you
Yeah.
so much for joining me on this episode of Bros and Shows Only Murders
Yeah.
Season 1. Thank you all so much for stopping by, and see you guys next time when we watch Only Murders in the Building Season 2 on Hulu. So thank you all so much for stopping by, and thank you all so much for tuning in.